Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Trinity College Football Coaches Show. Joined once again by head football coach Jeff Devanney. I'm Harry Hawkins for TSN. Coach, you told us last week the Trinity-Williams game always has an unexpected ending. It's always a close game. Crazy things always happen. You guys scored to take a 20-13 lead with less than a minute left in the game. What was your general?
Well, it was a tough day to coach, to be honest with you. It was exhausting. It was frustrating because we didn't play very well on offense and on special teams. We seem to have a lack of focus that's not really acceptable around here. But the way the fourth quarter unfolded and the big time plays that some of our guys made in pressure situations, that's what you want to see in those games. And ironically, I told a group of recruits that were here at the game that this game, I kind of gave them a history lesson of the Trinity-Williams game and talked about how when I was a player here, most of the games ended with somewhere in the last 19 seconds, and we scored with 19 seconds left in that game. So I don't know, it's just funny how things work out in the Trinity-Williams game every year. All right, so let's go to the highlights from the game and try to give you a feel for what we tried to do on both sides of the ball. Starting out with some defensive clips, I thought our defensive players played very, very well. Best we've played in probably the last 7 or 8 games that we've played in the last 2 years. Guys executed the game plan very well. One of the things that Williams did to us, which they hadn't done in many other games, they've been more of a two-back, run team. They really tried to spread the field and attack us on the perimeter. And Brian Donez, our field corner here, number 27, they went at him a bunch, and he played extremely well in this game. They threw 4 times. They threw bubble screen at him, and they lost yards all 4 times. In this particular play, we're playing a read coverage, and he read it. This one's actually a little bit easier for Brian because we're in a rolled coverage as it is, but he does a great job playing off the block. And we'll see more of Brian later on. Now, when they did get in their 2-back sets, we basically had 2 different ways of playing their 2-back and 2 tight end sets. One way we were doing it was just sending our D-line straight, which you'll see on this clip, and then plugging gaps with our linebackers, which junior linebacker Rob Gow does a great job on this play, and freshman linebacker Kevin Martin takes on the fullback and clogs it up. And you can see the D-line, who's playing very well for us right now, does a great job at the line of scrimmage, and Rob Gow comes downhill on his gap and makes a big play. And then here's just a big play by Brendan Bader in the fourth quarter. Another senior stepping up big for us in the Williams game. There's about 9 minutes left in the game. It's a 13-13. They're moving the ball into field goal range. First thing I want you to see, Nate Sear, I'll show you a couple plays of him later, our junior defensive end, is just playing extremely well. He's got a great combination of talent and work ethic. He practices every play like it's his last play, and then he didn't come off the field in this game, which is tough to do when you're a defensive lineman. And he played extremely well. He put some pressure on the quarterback here. We're in a 3-man rush, and he works very hard to get the quarterback moving out of the pocket. And then Brendan comes up with a nice interception in the end zone to thwart that threat there by Williams. Another play here by Nate Sear. Here we're going to stunt the defensive lineman. It's a first down call that we were trying to move the defensive lineman against the 1-back sets. And Nate does a great job of coming off the edge. Almost gets a strip of the quarterback here, but great effort, and one of his 3 sacks on the day. Now, one of the other thing I was talking about, Williams spreading us out. They did this a bunch. They motioned to empty, which they had not done on film previous to this game, and we had to make some sideline adjustments. And one of the things that we did is we brought inside pressure to try to get the quarterback to get rid of the ball real quickly and dropped our outside linebackers. And on this particular play, senior Mike Weatherby, who played very well in the Williams game, shows like he's coming off the edge and drops when the linebackers change the call and ends up dropping right into the bubble screen and makes a big tackle. Now offensively, a couple things that we highlighted in this, and we struggled in this game offensively. We were very inconsistent. Our focus wasn't what it needed to be. We had 7 false starts, which kind of shows you where our focus was. But Henry Foy, our sophomore quarterback, did a great job as the game went on, made some big completions in the fourth quarter. And Ben Crick had one of the best games that he's had in the last couple of years. he looked like he was moving at a different speed than everybody on the field. Here's an example of that. We're running an outside zone play, and Ben really stretches it, hits the hole, and gets to the next level really quickly. This was a big throw from Henry to A.J. Jones. There's going to be a bunch of highlights of A.J. Jones here because he just made some tremendous plays in this game. But this is a 3rd and long, and A.J. is going to run a comeback route here, which Henry puts the ball right on the money. We were struggling to move the chains early in the game, and some of these throws that Henry made as the game went on really helped us. Just another play here where we're in our 2-back set. We've got Bunker and Crick on the field, and Williams is going to bring some pressure, and we're going to throw the ball down the field to A.J. on a double move, and I don't know how he ended up catching this ball, but as you can see, he catches it with one hand. He's got both his feet in bounds, and he's got one hand catching the ball. He ended up coming up with that play, and we at the time, we've been struggling offensively when A.J. made that play. And very shortly after that, we scored our first touchdown. And we lined up in a trips formation here. We've got trips to the field. Junior fullback Mike Budness is lined up basically in the tight end position. And we're going to send him down the seam with a little play fake to Ben Crick. And Henry's going to throw the ball. Nice seam route here to Michael. Well-designed play by our offensive staff, and a good throw and an excellent catch, because you see the safety come across here, makes a good legal hit on Mike. Mike was able to hang on to the ball, and that hurt him a little bit. Took him a few seconds to get up, but as Mike said to me as he came over to the sideline, if it's going to hurt, I might as well at least catch it. Going to get hit anyway. Now this is Williams, after that touchdown to Budness, came back and scored to go back on top 13-6. Our defense held the Williams down here in their zone, and then we got a good punt return from Ben Crick to give us good field position. And on the first play, we went to a post pattern again to AJ, and he makes another outstanding catch. You can see that the safety 24 is going over, reading Henry's eyes and going over towards AJ, and Henry throws it behind the safety. And AJ goes down and makes a great catch. And that tied the game 13-13. Big play right here with Henry dropping back, stepping up in the pocket. This is a 3rd and 13. And he connects with Ben Crick in the traffic. We had split Ben out as a receiver. And Ben made a big play to keep the chains moving here. Now at this point, it's near the end of the game in the 4th quarter. For those of you that weren't here, I'm going to try to give you some narrative of how it went from here. We ended up stalling at this point and gave Williams the ball back. And Williams is now driving down the field. There's only a few minutes left in the game. They have a very good field goal kicker. It's a 13-13 game. They're in their 2 tight end set. And we're going to run a stunt here where we bring Mike Weatherby inside the tight end and move the front away from him. And Weatherby's going to make a great move on the tight end to hit the running back in the backfield, and the Mike linebacker Kevin Martin's going to come over the top and punch the ball free. This really was one of those plays that saved us, because they're driving to win the game here. And that turnover was a huge play. And now at that point, so now we have the ball, and we moved across the 50, and we had a decision to make. It was 4th down, and about a minute and a half left in the game, and I decided to go for it. Maybe not the smartest call, but in this game, I wanted to have control of our own destiny. I didn't want to punt it back to them. I didn't want to end up in overtime. Our defense had been on the field a lot. I didn't think it would be our advantage to be in overtime. So we went for it on 4th down and didn't get it. So now Williams has the ball back, and on this defensive play, the first thing I want to point out is we're going to bring senior Tom Szymanski off the edge here in a call that we made once this whole game. We called this defense once the entire game, and this was it. And I was really proud of the defensive players, because despite the fact that this was the only time we called it, all 11 guys on the field executed the defense exactly the way it's designed. The defensive linemen all fit in the correct gaps. Szymanski times up the blitz perfectly and has a good angle, good blitz angle. our coverage guys, you can't see the corners, but you're going to see them in a minute. They're all where they belong on this clip here. We've really got good coverage, and the quarterback throws it up, and Brian Dona, as our corner, comes up with a big interception. Unfortunately, falls down on the return, but now we've got the ball back with under a minute to go in the game, and we have all 3 of our timeouts. So what we do here is we're trying to get down in field goal range. We give the ball to Ben Crick on that outside zone play that we showed earlier, and Ben gets the edge. Good block by our right tackle here, sealing the defensive end. Mike Budness gets out on the linebacker, and Crick picks up a big gain right there. Gets us down to the 12-yard line with about 19 seconds left. We used one of our timeouts here and made the decision that we're in field goal range, but we're going to try to hit a pass into the end zone before trying the field goal. And as this play develops, you're going to see that to the field here, Chris Ragone is wide open. They actually roll the coverage to A.J. Jones. But I don't blame, so Henry's read really would have been to take the ball to the field. But I can't blame Henry. It's 4th quarter of the Williams game, and he throws it to A.J., even though A.J.'s double covered. And A.J. somehow gets the ball between the 2 Williams defenders for a catch. That's in the last 2 years, A.J. has 4 touchdown catches in the 4th quarter against Williams. So I probably would have thrown it to him too. And one of the things I love about being at Trinity is our alums we had such a great crowd at this game. There's the entire 2012 senior class right there. From that 2012 undefeated team, the entire senior class was not only at the game, they're all in the end zone at the end. A pretty special environment we had. So hopefully that gives you a good feel for those of you who weren't at the game about what happened in the another historical Trinity Williams rivalry game.
Coach, historically, Trinity versus Hamilton, not really that much of a contest. You guys sort of tend to dominate them, but how do you get your team, staying on top of things for this week's matchup?
Well, hopefully our guys understand that we're not a very good football team right now. I think they saw how poorly we played on offense and in special teams. I think they understand that we have a long way to go if we want to be a championship team, which is our goal. So basically our focus as a staff this week, and I told the guys this Monday morning, is I don't care if we're playing the Pop Warner Hartford Wildcats or we're playing the New England Patriots. It doesn't matter to me who we're playing against. We need to get better. I mean, we need to get better in all phases of our game, but particularly on offense and special teams, and that's going to be our big focus this week.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week. Make sure to check out the webcast of this game Saturday at 1 o'clock, and join us next week as we preview the Tufts contest.